This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, welcoming you to another informative episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 329. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Today we're heading down to Texas and we're going to connect with Eric Pickhartz. And Eric is the managing editor of WOSpaces. Why should you listen to the show? It's simple. WOSpaces brings tremendous resources right to your laptop, right to your smartphone. What kind of resources? How, why, when, where should I be hunting whitetails? How should I cook up my game? How should I become a better hunter? Yes, WOSpaces provides that every single day. So take a look at WOSpaces and welcome Eric to the show. It's never too early to think about food plots. Whitetail Rendezvous has an ebook for you. Just simply text 33444 food plot to get your copy. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. And folks, we're heading down to Texas today and we're going to connect with Eric Pickhartz, is the managing editor of WOSpaces. Eric, welcome to the show.
Greetings, Bruce. Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, I've been a fan of WOSpaces for a number of years, and I just wanted to have Eric on the show today, folks, so he could talk about WOSpaces. So, sir, the mic's yours.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. The feeling's mutual. We're fans of Whitetail Rendezvous as well, and yeah, we really appreciate you inviting me on. And I'm happy to talk a lot about WOSpaces. As much as you'll let me. We've been around for a while, been at this for a good few years now. I am the managing editor, like you mentioned, but really, the folks who are the stars of WOSpaces.com, our contributor group, we have a huge nationwide, even some international group of folks who do a really fantastic job of providing the stuff that you read on WOSpaces.com on a daily basis, and they are the ones who are out there, hunting day in and day out during the season, and fishing as much as they possibly can, writing product reviews, writing how-to stuff, and also sharing a ton of really, really cool, interesting, sometimes kind of mind-blowing videos and articles and that sort of thing. So it's really cool. It's been something that I've really enjoyed. I've immersed myself in this world and come to really fall in love with it. And it's pretty neat to get to say I walk into my office and look for cool hunting and fishing stories to tell all day.
Sounds like the dream job to me, Eric.
You're really not kidding. I have a journalism background. To be quite honest, wanted to be a sports writer when I was younger. Kind of realized what that meant, and nights and weekends, that sort of thing. Got married, had a kid. Quickly realized that that's just not the life for me. And I've always been an outdoorsman. Probably a bigger fisherman than hunter, overall, but have done my share of both. And I really like it. I love learning new things every day. From, like I said, our all-star contributor team, as well as just, the things that happen day in and day out. This world is, never ceases to amaze, as I'm sure you well know.
Let's go back to the beginning. In the warm-up, you shared that you were there at WOSpaces in the beginning. And the reason I want to have you do that, let's just frame it, because a lot of my listeners, they're all age. I had a 16-year-old young man on the show, and there's guys my age on the show. But in between those two ages, people are looking at the outdoor industry as a career path. So when they hear how you started with a very successful entity today, it wasn't always that way. So share the story.
Yeah, so, a few years ago, WOSpaces did exist, but not really in the form that you see today. I was brought on to kind of go with essentially a content-first model and, provide folks with videos, how-to articles, product reviews, you name it, just a lot of information and the sort of things that they were already searching for online, couldn't really find all in one place. And, I just kind of used everything I knew from my background, as well as, this whole idea of new media. I hate to say it sometimes, but, we all know newspapers are dying, magazines are struggling to keep subscribers, that sort of thing. And we just wanted to make sure we were in the spot where, the heartland of America is going to be when they're looking for, outdoor information. So we're doing our best. It's been, essentially 3 years now where we've worked our way up to, earning more attention and more eyes and ears than, outdoorlife.com, fieldandstream.com, those sorts of legacy publishers. And, we're kind of just representing the new way of sharing this information, of providing easy to digest stuff that folks are able to read and share quickly and get something out of it and remember it when actually apply it when they're out in the woods.
Let's talk about your bandwidth on social media and your delivering of Wide Open Spaces. Talk about the size of your listenership, if you will, within the framework of what you can share with me.
Yeah, no, by all means, it's huge. It's growing all the time. I mentioned we, kind of use this model to replicate a couple of other, website setups and freelance contributor models and that sort of thing. We have other websites under the Wide Open Media Group, which is sort of, our umbrella company. And so, this has spread far and wide. We're reaching, if you combine everything, essentially, upwards of 10 million folks across the network, which is really cool to think that, on a regular basis, there are a lot of people who are reading what our writers have to say and, checking out the videos we're sharing and that sort of thing. It's pretty impressive to see it grow from, absolutely nothing essentially to something this big. We're doing it and we're having a lot of fun doing it. And I think, the folks who've jumped on board with us and our freelance contributors are really finding that it's kind of the new way to be in this industry and, provide and share things with folks who are like-minded and, are part of that same community.
Thanks for that. And how would people reach out to you at Wide Open Spaces?
Yeah, no, I'd appreciate you asking. I, by all means, want everybody to go check out wideopenspaces.com if you haven't already. If you wanted to become a contributor of ours, it's actually a pretty simple process. We do have full descriptions of kind of what's entailed at the website wideopenmediagroup.com/careers. That will spell everything out. Also at wideopenspaces.com, you can scroll down to the bottom and there's a button that says contributor program. You can learn about it there as well. And then, in general, look us up on Facebook. Just search Wide Open Spaces in the app. Like us on Facebook. That's where the best of our best stuff ends up. You can subscribe to our newsletter on our website as well. Scroll down to the bottom where it says, email updates. It's kind of our daily smart newsletter. It essentially learns what you're interested in based on, what you are reading. If you visit a lot of bow hunting videos and how-to articles and that sort of thing, it kind of picks up on that over time and will deliver you a custom email on a regular basis. So that's pretty cool. And we're also, if I can squeeze it in real quickly, also on Instagram.com/WOSpaces and of course Twitter.com/wideopenspaces. Look us up, like us, start checking out what we've got for you guys. I think everyone, can get something out of it, whether it's a laugh or, something actually really useful that they can go apply to their hunting or fishing skills, that sort of thing. I think there's something for everybody.
Thanks so much for that. So before we switch it up and change up to hunting, I just want to give a shout out to Whitetail Stalkers, Mike Grandstaff and team, and they partnered with us. So Mike and the guys and gals at Whitetail Stalker, glad you're aboard with us. So let's talk about the hunting. Why hunting?
Yeah, no, well, it's pretty clear. I mentioned a phrase that we use a lot around here, the heartland of America. We're really going after and capturing, their heart and their passion and the sort of things they're into. Hunting is so huge in this country and beyond, really, but it's just full of tradition, full of the sorts of things that folks don't want to lose, that they really want to hold on to. There's a lot of things that kind of harken back, if you will, when it comes to hunting. But I also think it's pretty cool that there's essentially a kind of a new generational aspect to it. And, people who are maybe closer to my age, who have really young children at home, or who are, just getting out of college or that sort of thing, are carrying on these traditions, but doing it in a slightly different way, and sharing things about it in a much different way, and sharing those things a lot faster than ever before, and all these sorts of things. Somebody shoots a potential world record buck in Tennessee, and we're going to hear about it that night because of how fast things move. So I think it's the kind of world that really caters to just the information, overload. I love looking through, feeds and seeing what is being talked about and what is being written about across the internet, in this world of hunting. Deer specifically are such a cool critter, and there's so much to learn about them. I mentioned it earlier. I learn new things every day at this job. Obviously, it's impossible not to. So I think, there's just really a lot of things that a lot of folks in this country and beyond it that are really, really tied into hunting, and that they really get something out of it. And like I said, it's something that they would never want to give up.
Yeah, and if listeners, if you get into the North American model, read Shane Mahoney work on that. And we have, in the whole world, we have the easiest access to the outdoors. We just do. And it's a matter of you deciding you want to be part of this community. Yeah, it's a huge business. I was just at ATA, and just whitetail hunting alone is a $47 billion, and there's 11 million plus or minus people that hunt whitetails each and every year. That's a huge force. And when you take a look at that, and you take a look at how social media has changed the way we live, think, and interact, it's a huge opportunity to get out of doors, get away from those devices, if you will, and see what's out there for you. And that's a great segue into women in the outdoors, fastest growing segment of our industry. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's something that, I wouldn't say I'm tired of hearing, but I just really have heard it so much, and it really is so clear to me at this point that there is a huge level of interest in the female demographic. It represents a significant portion of the folks who are reading our stuff, who are sharing our stuff, and we, also know who, quite frankly, are making some of the decisions when it comes to purchasing stuff in the household. That sort of thing. Females hold a lot of power in a lot of different ways, and yeah, when they pick up on something like hunting and realize the benefits of it, the entire field to table movement, which I'm a huge proponent of, and actually got to completely process my deer for the first time this year, as opposed to taking it somewhere and having somebody else do it for me, and it was a blast, and I loved it, and I'll always do it from now on. And so I can see how a female mind can wrap itself around that, and can understand when they're trying to provide food for their family that's good and organic and healthy and worthwhile, and they can see the benefits of that. So there's all sorts of things. It's taken a little while now, but you see, camo companies and apparel companies making things specifically for women now. It's probably about time. And yeah, it's probably something that a lot of women say, well, yeah, we've been here all along. What took you so long? But it's also, there's no denying that there's, large groups of women who are getting introduced to it now and are really enjoying it. So it's something we try and focus on and try and write about and, try and cater to when it's appropriate. And yeah, it's pretty cool to see that happening. Female empowerment in this country is, a pretty big deal. By no means is that, an understatement. So it's something that I think is pretty cool. And, it's certainly something that we need to keep an eye on and pay attention to.
Thanks for that. And I'm just going to give a shout out for a good friend, Kirsty Pike, founder, CEO of Proas. And she started that 8-9 years ago, probably almost 10 years ago now, and basically out of Gunnison, Colorado. And the timing was so right for her. Was it easy? No. But, I just look at ladies like Kirsty and had the courage and the drive and all the things you have to have a successful company, no matter what you're selling. And that's just a bellwether statement, if you will, that women have the opportunity to go out and make something happen, especially as entrepreneurs. And that's my thought on that. So let's talk about. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just totally agreeing with you. And there's all kinds of stories like that. It is pretty cool.
It's just, it is what it is. And I wanted to throw that out there. Let's talk about the hunting tradition now. Along the way, somebody had to help you understand, deer hunting. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't really come from a family that did it a ton. When I was young, I got introduced to it when I moved, from Minnesota to Texas, essentially, as a preteen, and, went on a handful of deer hunts here and there, got into school, got into life, as you will, and, was always an angler, fished more than I ever hunted for the most part. But, when I got into this gig and realized that there was a lot of potential here and that there was so much to learn and that I was really interested in it, it was pretty easy to hook up with some, already good acquaintances, some good buddies who had the land and had the opportunity. And, in Texas, as you likely know, and many of your listeners know, there are plenty of deer to go around. And it's generally pretty easy for a beginner to kind of pick up on things and have some early success. So I did just that, basically, and, had a lot of fun, filled the freezer, was able to convince my wife that if she would allow me to go on these weekend trips, that, I would come back with some good meat and some good meals down the road. And then, I would also come back with some great stories and some really good learning experiences. And, it's definitely something I do yearly now, just essentially to make sure I have some meat in the freezer for that next year. But as far as kind of coming into it a little bit later in life, I think I've been fast-tracked, if you will. And, I've loved every minute of it. I know that I still have a long ways to go, but it's something that, now already I know that I'm not going to want to, lose track of or quit doing anytime soon. It's pretty great.
Yeah, and I appreciate that because, what we can do, and I know what you do at Wide Open Spaces, you give people the content, and then they can feel the adventure, they can feel the passion of the writers and say, I want to try that. What's your recommendation to people who, would like to get in the outdoors, but just haven't figured out how to do it?
Yeah, I'm really glad you said that too, because, I don't want people to think that they're reading, whitetail deer hunting articles, that were edited by somebody who doesn't care or doesn't know. I've dedicated myself to making sure that I know and always caring. So just want to make sure everybody knows that. And also, I'll say it once more, the freelance contributors that write for us are really the voice of Wide Open Spaces. They do a really good job. We have a writers page on our website that I encourage everybody to go to be a little bit more familiar with the folks who are writing the words that you are reading and sharing the things that you're watching. It's we have kind of a top tier of senior writers who've been with us for a really long time, who have proven themselves as very experienced. So it's the sort of thing that folks can hook up with us, and if they're on board with what we're doing and the way we do it, they can really stand to make some money in this industry and be legitimate about it and get some of the perks of it, which nobody can deny. And it's pretty cool that we have people who stick with us for a long time, like I said, can make some decent money. And again, I'll just encourage anybody who would be interested in sharing the experience they have, whether they're a writer or a videographer, if they're a YouTube channel owner or a journalist, a blogger. We welcome anybody to check out our contributor programs, not just on wideopenspaces.com, but our other websites, wideopencountry.com, wideopenpets.com, and wideopeneats.com. Really, you can find out everything you need to know at wideopenmediagroup.com/careers. I'm so sorry for all the URLs, but hopefully you needed to. You rewound it and wrote that down down or punch that into your browser, because we really want to hear from anybody and everybody who is interested in finding out more and would like to, like I said, actually make some money doing what we're doing day in and day out.
Wow, I'm just amazed how passionate about you are about Wide Open Spaces, and it's a great platform, and it's going to do nothing but grow from here. So strap on, and I was just thinking, Houston, we have a problem. Well, there's no problem at Wide Open Spaces, and they are going places, and so if you have an interest, get a hold of Eric, get a hold of Wide Open Spaces, and become part of that. Expand yourself into writing and sharing all the avenues that Eric shared. So, Eric, we're at the soft spot. You just had a great shout out. I don't know how you're going to top that, but why don't you take a minute or two and give thanks to the folks in your life, and then we'll wrap the show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. And I mean, the recognition is fantastic, and we appreciate everything you've said and done for us already, and appreciate those who spent the time to listen and to hear a little bit more about what we're doing. I'll again shout out my writers, everybody who contributes to Wide Open Spaces and who has in the past has really helped build what we're doing here. So they are the stars. They are the ones who deserve the recognition. And of course, everybody else who works with me here at Wide Open Media Group, we are still a small team. Sometimes I like to joke that Wide Open Spaces is headquartered in the middle of all this concrete and plastic in the downtown Austin area, but we like to think that we understand the heartland of America, and that we're really trying to capture their attention and succeeding in doing that. So we really thank you for giving us this platform to talk a little bit about it and to put it on people's radars. So thank you again, and yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I got.
Eric, thank you so much on behalf of thousands of listeners across North America. They got some insights to just who Wide Open Spaces is, and it's just not a platform. It's real people in real places doing real things, and much continued success to you.
Thanks so much, Bruce.
Hey, folks, on the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, we're going to visit with Nikki Tilley and Brittany Glaze as they talk from Peconi's Trophy Whitetails of Southern Ohio. What's so special about Nikki and Brittany? Well, they're launching Model Hunter TV. You're going to hear a lot about it, and you're going to have the introduction to both these ladies, so you're going to have all the background of why they started Model Hunter TV.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.